In this video here, we're going to talk about how to discover the combination from one of these kind of wheel packs. So you picked up a safe at an auction, it looks beautiful, you want to use it, and you pulled this piece out of the back and you don't know what the heck to do. Well, we're going to go through that. The first thing we're going to do is show you how to take it apart and explain what all the pieces are. So we'll see on top there's just a ring holding everything together. So what we want to do is take the edge of this ring and put it near one of these notches on the wheel post so that it's easy to put a tiny screwdriver in there. Just lift up and give it a little helping hand out of the way, and now we're left with that. I'm going to put that off to the side. So that's called the retaining ring. Some people might have different names for it. I call it a retaining ring. So this will be wheel number 3. Now, how do we know it's wheel number 3? Well, that's simple. If we flip it over, you'll see it's actually stamped 3, and somewhere on this one there's a 3 there. So that's our third number in our combination. We're going to put that off to the side for now. We'll look at that later. So we're going to lift up the next one, and we'll notice we have an extra piece on this one. This is called a keyed spacer. Some people have different names for it. I call it a keyed spacer because it has these 2 keys that fit in these notches so that it acts as a washer that stays in place. This washer can't turn when the wheels are turned, which means you can operate them individually and separately of each other. So when you turn one wheel, it won't inadvertently turn the other wheel. That's what those things do, and this is the most important piece in these locks. If you lose this piece, you cannot operate the lock without this. You will have 2 wheels turning together and you won't be able to park them separately. And when you try to dial your combination, you will be taking 2 wheels together and never being able to get the combination entered. And I have a video that actually goes into detail about that, so watch that one if you're curious about this. But do not operate your lock without these in place. I'm telling you right now, I cannot save you if you don't have this in place. It will need to be drilled. So I'm telling you again, do not forget to put these in. So we'll take off our next wheel. Oh, actually, we got to put that wheel in position. And this one is wheel 2. How do we know that? Simple. See the number 2 here and the number 2 here. That's how we know that's our second number in the combination. So that'll go here. Now we take off our next wheel and we'll see we have another one of those keyed spacers. Do not operate this lock without these in position. I can't say that enough. You will be locked out. So that'll go here, and this will be wheel 1. How do we know that? Simple again. We look here, we got number 1 stamped, and we look somewhere. Where's our next one? Somewhere on here there'll be, oh, there it is right there. Right there we have our number 1 stamped. Try to get you in the light there. So there you go. So we go here, that's wheel 1. We go here, we see wheel 2 and wheel 2. We come over here and we see wheel 3 and wheel 3. So that's how we know which number of the combination we're dealing with. So now, how do we find our combination? So we got to start with wheel number 1. Well, I forgot which one is wheel number 1. Well, that's no problem because we'll just go here and we'll look which one has a number 1 on it. Okay, that's this one here. Number 1 there and number 1 there. 1 there and 1 there. So if we flip this guy over, we can see here there is a notch on this inner ring that lines up with numbers on the outer ring. So this inner ring here is very skinny and this fat ring on the outside. So you see where that notch lines up on this one is 25. So that's going to be our first number, is 25. So you take a piece of paper, write that down. We'll go to wheel 2 and we'll look for the same thing. We'll try to find that notch somewhere on this inner skinny ring, and we see here we have a 55. So that is our second number. And we'll go to our third wheel and we look for the same thing. We check for that notch on the skinny ring here. Oh, we see it here at number 80. So that is our combination. Our combination is 25, 55, and 80. Okay, so that's great. We have our combination. What if we don't like that combination? Again, very simple on these locks. What we have to do is take our first wheel, decide what number we want. Let's go with 0 just for fun. We're going to flip this guy over, and we're going to give this inner ring a little push. Just a little love push here. And it's going to pop out like that. And you're going to think you broke it, but you didn't. It's supposed to do that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to line up that notch right here with 0. So you see now we put this guy back in, and there you go. Now our first number is 0, and we do that all along the other wheels. Let's pick 30 for the next number. So wheel number 2, we take this guy, give it a little push, and it separates. That's fine. We'll take our little notch that's here, and we'll move it over to number 30. And we'll push this guy back in. And there you go. Now you see we have number 30 for our second number. What number do we want for our third wheel? Well, maybe we can do, let's do 70. So right now we're at 80. We'll pick 70. So we'll take our notch that's here, move it over here to 70. So there you have that. Now our combination is going to be 0, 30, and 70. Now the thing to remember about these kind of locks is sometimes they're not exact. So again, you have to try the combination before you close the door to make sure that everything lined up the way you want. One or two of these might be one number off. So this one might have ended up at 4 or 2 instead of 0. And this one might have been 28 instead of 30. So you just have to make sure that everything lined up the way you want it. And if it doesn't, you can just make those little adjustments by pushing this out and then making the adjustments as you need. Usually they're okay, but I've had a couple that weren't exactly perfect. So now, how do we put these back together? Well, that's also easy because we've laid it out in a way that's easy for us to put it back together. But even if we didn't, it goes back in the same order as we discovered our combination. So this is wheel number 1. This one goes on first. And then we need a keyed spacer between every wheel. Remember this, I'm going to tell you again. You cannot operate the lock without these keyed spacers in there. You will be locked out and I won't be able to save you. It will have to be drilled. So that guy goes in there. And then this is wheel 2, so that's the second one to go in position. Then we do another keyed spacer. Do not forget this, please. That goes on, and now we have our wheel 3. Wheel 3 goes on, and then our retaining ring. So there you have that. So let's go through that again. Even if, let's say you had this all laid out nice. We had this all laid out nice. Then your cat jumped up on the table and messed everything up. Let's say your cat messed it all up and now you're like, oh my god, I don't know what to do anymore. Oh no, how do I put this thing back together? That's no problem. Just have a look. We want number 1. Well, that says number 2, so we don't want that one. Which one is this? Oh, that's number 1, so that's the one we want. Okay, perfect. That goes on first. We know we need one of these between every wheel, so that's fine. That goes here. Okay, now which one is number 2? Is that this one? No, that's number 3. That's not the one we need. We need number 2, so that's number 2. Okay. We know we need one of these because I've told you guys many times, and I'm going to tell you again, do not operate the lock without this. I'm telling you now, don't do it. I will haunt you. I will haunt you and I will find you in your sleep. So that goes in there, and now we should be left with wheel 3. And you see we're left with wheel 3. That goes on. Our retaining ring goes on. And now we have our new combination set. And we can put it back in and test the combination 10 times, 20 times, however many times you need to feel confident that it's working. Okay, so I hope that helps you guys to recover the combination for these kinds of wheels. Thanks for watching.